Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel here at Paradise on Pennies. So today I'm going to walk you through another awesome recipe from our nomadic life on the road. I've done a couple of recipes and some of them will be done on a campfire and some of them are done just inside our camper home, our little tiny home on wheels here. Today this one's going to be done inside the camper for one reason because it's raining, and two, this is probably one that lends itself a little more to cooking inside on our camp stove. So let's go over to the stove and the cooking area and I will show you today how to make a simple eggplant parmesan. Now my recipes are more geared towards this nomadic lifestyle, so it's going to use rather basic ingredients. You can always add things if you have other ideas and flare up the recipe a little more. But this is more towards trying to stay on a budget, but still trying to eat good and have more ideas so we're not always eating the same thing. This isn't going to be a ramen noodle based diet here. How do we still eat good on the road? This will be a great example today. Eggplant parmesan for the budget nomad. Let's go. It's always nice cooking inside the camper. Whether we're out in the middle of nowhere or we're in town, there's always something nice to enjoy. And today, it's these birds in this tree which are giving off a beautiful song. And that's my background to cooking. Let's head down to the stove and see what we're cooking up. Okay, so what I've got in here is one of my little chopped pieces of eggplant. So you're going to take an eggplant. You probably want a whole eggplant even for two people. It'll make a lot though. You don't have to use a whole one. But see, I'm just going to cut them into these little eggplant medallion pieces. If you want to go thin, you can. Or you can go really thick. Thin's going to make it more crispy, kind of like the eggplant bacon recipe that I've already posted here on the channel. If you go a little thicker, it'll have more of that, I guess, if you're a meat eater, maybe more of like the sausage appeal. So I also will throw up a recipe for that too, this idea of using this as a meat substitute, where you can have a sausage egg McMuffin. So look out for that. But yeah, today these are just going to be our little eggplant pieces. And I cut them into, I don't know, medium size medallions. And I'm just going to line them on the pan. And I'm going to cook them. I've done this a couple different ways, just so you know. You can do it generally with not a lot of oil in the pan. And it still works. They just kind of get a little crispy, and you can just keep turning them and just kind of cooking them to your liking. If you want to keep them in a little more and avoid too much stickage, you might want to put a little oil. Coconut oil works good in this case and tastes good. And I will put a little garlic here in the middle, chopped up garlic. Let it cook, and then I'll actually just press it into these little eggplant patties. Makes it taste really good. As you can see in this case, I did take off the peel of the eggplant. You don't have to do this, but since I'm not overcooking these too much, I just find that it just tastes a little better for this particular recipe, just to go ahead and cut the peel off. But it's up to you. Okay, and I just usually make my own sort of version of a pasta sauce, where I just put some tomatoes, any kind of tomato. You can use Romas or whatever you have. Heirlooms work for this. This is just what I have right now, and they need to be used up. So I'm going to throw a bunch more tomatoes in here. I got some cut up onion, and there's some garlic pieces in there too. And then I'll probably just add a little water if needed to make it go a little further. And of course, some sort of Italian-like seasoning. Oregano usually does the trick. And then this will become our pasta sauce topping. Okay, so these little eggplant medallions are browning up, as you can see. And again, this is going to be up to you, the consistency you want. But I like just a little brown on them. I did put a little bit of oil, kind of like when you do toast in a pan. You just put a little oil on the bread. It's like that. I just put a little bit on them. You don't want to put a ton in the pan, because if you've ever worked with eggplant before, it soaks it all up and it might be a little too oily. So just a little bit to reduce the sticking. And then I'm actually just going to take these and put as much cheese as I want in the middle, and then just scoop one of them up, as you can see, and toss it on top, and do a layering technique here. So eggplant medallion, a little bit of cheese, eggplant medallion, a little bit of cheese, but back and forth as high as you want to stack them. And I stick with, similar sizes to make a stack, and I'll put some cheese on top of there too, and it'll melt. And then once these are melted a bit, then I'll put the sauce on top. You can pretty much go with whatever cheese you like, but mozzarella would work really well for this. I'm going with provolone because that's what was on sale. You could do Parmesan if you want. It's typically a little more pricey, but delicious. So yeah, whatever cheese you want. Usually one of the white cheeses works well with this recipe. All right, the homemade spaghetti sauce topping is coming along good. Tomatoes and onions are cooking down. Again, these aren't my first choice tomatoes for this, but it's what I had, so they're working. Once they cook down, I'll add some just oregano or Italian style seasoning in here for flavoring, and that should be all set. And then I'm just going to pour this over top of those eggplant Parmesan pieces, which aren't really using Parmesan today. Let's see how they're looking. Looking pretty good. Need to get some more cheese in here and stack them, but as you can see, there's our little eggplant medallion stacks with cheese. Pretty simple recipe. Cheap, really good for you. And it'll be done shortly here. And voila, there's the finished product. Eggplant Parmesan for the budget nomad traveler. Pretty easy to make recipe, very delicious. Not your classic eggplant parm, but definitely a great alternative for those of us living this lifestyle. So enjoy.